Hello there, this is Jeff Vick and Keith Konradi with you today. We're going to take about 15-20 minutes of your time trying to catch you up on all of the development that's been taking place with Hopper Throttle. Over the last 3 years, it's really incredible how it's gone from just an innovation to now this past season it was on over 8 million acres. Originally it was just Hopper Throttle, and then it became Revline Hopper Throttle. Then we got comfortable with Revline Hopper Throttle with Ether. Then we added the option of metal axle and pre-fight and guard X for beans and corns, fighting some of the different diseases in there. And today, Meristem took it to a whole new level. And today you're going to be introduced to some new phrases: Guard C, Guard M, Born X, Max D, Max Stacks for both corn and beans. Keith is going to walk us through it all. But you got to be asking why behind this. And everybody has known for years and years that two of the biggest money makers in the ag industry are seed treatments and then fungicide applications, insecticide applications. So, what if there was an option for rather than in season, we could put it in a planter box treatment? That means so much more than it did just a couple of years ago. So today we're going to walk you through everything. If you log on to the Meristem Ag website and you pull up planter box treatment, you're going to see a lot of options that could be overwhelming. Keith is going to make that easy for us today to understand, or as easy as possible. Before I hand it off to him, just touch base on a couple of things. Number one, in some of our promotions that will be coming out, you'll hear early adopter discount. So the max D level and the max stacks level, those are supposed to be both limited quantity, really more just for dealers this year. But for our high-end growers who want to run some trials, we're going to make it available to you at a discounted price. The other thing that I want to make sure that you understand is there is now a replant guarantee. Keith will walk us through what that's going to look like on some of these slides. And then last, perhaps most important, is financing. Everybody is, man, they're managing their dollars, and I understand that. There's a lot of questions in the industry right now. The good news, Meristem has gone to bat for you. So this year, all year long, financing through your John Deere Financial is going to be prime minus 2%. So with that all being said, Keith, I'm going to hand it off to you, my friend, and I'll let you take us from here.
All right, let me make sure I can share my screen. How does that look? Can you see it?
Yeah, it looks good. If you want to jump into presentation mode, down on the bottom right, it should be something where you can just,
There we go.
there you go.
All right. Okay, so got a lot of slides here. I'm gonna go through them as fast as I can, but they're always going to be there for reference. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call Jeff or myself, and we can go through this. Number one, first and foremost, is the biocapsule um, evolution that we've done, and we've discussed, and we found out, and we've been doing extensive testing. If you're going to spend money on microbiology, it has to be alive, and you have to know what you're getting. So that's why we've kind of came out with these delivery techniques. And one of the things that's been surprising to me through a couple of different universities, land grants, is you know uh, nematodes are one of the biggest issues that we see in corn. I always knew it was soybeans, but now we're seeing it in corn. And I don't want to um, just label them as nematodes because they're not even labeled as a disease and they're not even labeled as an insect. But they are stealing billions of dollars a year in yield. And again, on soybeans, what is it? Cyst nematodes. Look at these million bushels that it is taking per year. Um, so again, rootworm, the billions of dollars stolen. So we have to introduce this new delivery system for microbiology that is going to help defend our crops. And then we also have, the other side that we can enhance yield. So, these are the lists that you'll see. And Jeff said, go online. That all these are broken down, but and it's listed here on the screen. So your Guard C is your nematode protection, available now in corn and beans. Your M is your insect protection, which is pretty industry standard. It turns off a signal that lets the insects. I mean, it is a chemical version. It does kill the insects. Your Guard X, that is your management. That turns off the signal where the insects cannot find the root. It's kind of like a dog whistle. And then there's root regen there too. The Born X is your SDS, which is a game changer. Pre-fight is your biological fungicide, and then metalaxyl is the standard fungicide that you would receive on seed treatment. So if we start at the top and work our way down, because there's not one ingredient or one subscription or one silver bullet that fits every single farm. We want to give you the option to mix and match. And so if we start here at our max stacks, which is our top line version, you're looking at your red line, which is your pink bacteria terracin, which makes everything bigger. It has a PGR effect, which is beneficial. The bigger the plant, the more photosynthesis, the better the root mass, the better nutrients. It's very important. And then we have all of our other fixing microbes in that button that help with nitrogen providing activity, and as well as nitrogen phosphorus conversions, which we're seeing both corn and beans. The conversions, making the plant talk to the soil, is extremely important. Again, your Guard M is your bioinsecticide that targets seed corn maggots and secondary pests, and it's just a whole list of actual labeled pests that it does control. Your Guard C is your nematicide. So we spend a lot of money on seed treatments on these nematicides, and what we've found here recently, we filed for this in November, but what we find is the stuff on a seed treatment. That's why you get that halo effect. It comes off the seed, it pops out of the ground, and it's gone. These controls are going to last season long versus 2 weeks long. Your Guard X is your insecticide. To alleviate, again, we put it on rootworm, but it's a lot of secondary pests as well. And your pre-fight, which I think is going to be a game changer, is our Biospectrum EPA registered fungicide. Again, season long for all these diseases, not just a couple of weeks. We can skip that. We go to max stacks soy, kind of the same story. We do change it based for soybeans on the inoculation that we have in there. The metalaxyl, which is industry standard across everyone, the pre-fight, the Revline, the Trichoderma, Born X, again, another season-long fungicide. Guard M, insecticide, and Guard C is your, control suppression against nematodes, which again, we just keep finding more and more evidence that it's a bigger story than we've been told and that we've understood. Um, so some of these slides go through value as far as what you would spend uh, to obtain all these ingredients in different fashions, whether it be seed treatment, whether it be liquid, whether it be, XYZ. That's the value that you're getting in that simple application pail. D is where we have gone kind of in a new direction and said, okay, this is going to be our defense package. And that's why we call it D. So again, you have all of the aspects of protecting that seed and protecting that yield. And if you look at the value on the corn here on just the defensive package, you're looking at a value of $54 is what it would cost you right now per acre. And that's liquid, that's seed treatment, that's all these different methods. On the soybeans, same thing. You're looking at a total value of 38. Again, through all those different methods, maybe you have some of those abilities, maybe you don't have some of those abilities, maybe you don't want to even deal with some of those things like liquid and adjusting your planter and changing your mode of action. So this just breaks down, and this is just our numbers. Again, Record Harvest is going to offer an extremely reduced price on these things. But if you look at the max stacks, which is the top tier on corn, in the D, the defensive, or you can work your way down the ladder to have either Guard X, Ether, or Guard X, or just the original version. We provide all those depending on what's going to fit your farm. Same thing on soybeans, max stacks, top of the line, defensive, offensive. The D is your defensive package, and then you can work your way down the ladder as well, depending on what fits your pocketbook the best. So on replant, as Jeff mentioned, at max stacks, full top tier value, you replant regardless of brand. Regardless of what brand that you plant, our replant program is $40 an acre, and then from every version down from there, it's $20. And we still provide the additional product, but we want to make sure that you have the confidence that you're covered on the seed side as well. And to my knowledge, no company's ever done this before. No company's ever been able to pull it off before. We have, and this is not our first year. We've been doing this for a couple of years now. So understand that there's reassurance that if you do have a replant issue, you are covered. So again, I have data. Gray leaf spot is a big problem. That pre-fight broad spectrum fungicide season long is just showing up better and better and better. The rootworm that we call rootworm, but it's many pests and their regen. So when there is feeding on the root and you have assistance with helping to regenerate that root growth is a big deal. And how these work on insects is basically these biologicals will cover the insect and suffocate it. That's how they work. So here's just some pictures that you can see on extremely tough situations where there's just a giant difference in visual performance, which ends up being yield performance. If you look at this is a very crude example here, but if you look at where the larvae, the insects, the secondary pests want to go, this proves that with a product like Hopper Throttle, this keeps them away from our plants, and that's the most important thing. Again, even even with a traditional insecticide capture um, that is proven to have control, which control is 95%, to have control, or you can have um, I don't know, resistance. Uh, Even on top of these, we're outperforming, and it's groundbreaking. So again, here's kind of a visual on how it works on larvae and secondary pests, and how it eventually takes care of them. But again, it's not just a seed treatment that's there for a little while; it's their season long, um, which is big. And there's an appendix and things like that that Jeff can share with you that will, um, help explain any more of this information if need be, or again, give us a call and we'd be happy to have the conversation. Jeff, did I miss anything?
Nope. Thank you, Keith. I appreciate that. You just took about an hour presentation that we sat through recently and boiled it down. And so thank you for doing that. Just a few thoughts to touch base, highlight that Keith mentioned, make sure that everybody's on the same page with us. At the very, very beginning, we talked about cycle strike in those little vials, and that's really designed for our excavator customers. So that's taking it to a next level. Reach out to me. We can talk about that and bio up. Um, the SRP pricing that Key touched base on there. So of course that's based on your population. So it's in the zip code, but for our guys out in Kansas who much lower population, that dollar is going to stretch a heck of a lot farther. I would simply say, don't be surprised. Meristem has changed the industry. And so there's a lot of Me Too's out there, and there are a lot of companies, I'll call them regional. Now it's even some national brands that are basically taking the Hopper Throttle bucket, slapping their own logo on there. And so don't be surprised if you see that. I would just simply say, stay with the source. Let us be your provider for all of that. If you ever are looking for some really good in-depth material, go to YouTube and type in Meristem Minute. They've done a phenomenal job of creating these. I won't say monthly, sometimes it's quarterly, but they cover a lot of different topics. This is going to be one of the ones that you'll find very, very soon. Keith talked about an option just for the defense, the max D for both corn and beans, and then the max stacks, where you got both your defense and your offense. Hopefully, Chiefs coming up on Super Bowl, we're going to have both of them hitting on all cylinders there. And so start, stop, continue. In a couple of years, I think we're going to be having a different conversation, because farmers are going to realize that there are many, many things on their farm that they can stop doing because it's now a viable option in a plan that is going to simplify their full year strategy on their farm. So when you look at the price points, you go, wow, that's sizable. Well, yeah, it is, because you're going to be stopping some other things, some spends that you are doing currently on your farm. And then the last thing that just blows me away on the replant guarantee is this will include, want to make sure you heard that, this will include additional product, Revline Hopper Throttle product for your replacement. So you get the money that you're going to get from your seed company, and you get this money and supply on top of that. So just wanted to touch base on a few of those things there. Want to keep it bright, brief, and gone. Keith, any last words before we wish them well and send them on their way?
No, I mean that'll be all. I mean, guys, this is the future. More bushels for less is our motto, and and we've very confident we've accomplished that, where we can simplify everything, make your life easier, increase bushels, and take costs out, and that's what we're all about.
Good luck, guys. I know the weather's starting to warm up out there a little bit. Things starting to green up. Excited for this planting season. Take care. You'll be hearing again from us soon.